the arguments for the circular economy are quite clear, and we have actually explained them in detail in 2 papers published over the last year. Every year we consume 1.7 times what the Earth can safely regenerate. Around only 9% of all our activities can be considered to be circular. So every area of the economy has to transform: consumers, companies and governments. We need an acceleration, and this acceleration will touch everyone. We would like to provide you with 2 concrete examples of areas where we will find this acceleration in the years to come.
The first example is a global supply chain. COVID and the war in Ukraine are only the most recent causes of trade disruptions. You have read in history books about the British World War II slogan, "Make do and mend." And that wasn't a choice made out of altruism, but one guided by sheer necessity. Supply disruptions can also arise from natural catastrophes such as hurricanes, droughts, wildfires, many of which will become more frequent due to climate change. Policy-driven actions such as tariffs on imported goods or export quotas, and ESG issues with supply countries, for instance pertaining to human rights violations or possibly carbon taxes. On top of all that, many essential raw materials and processing capabilities are geographically concentrated. Several important raw materials such as copper and nickel are sourced from a limited range of countries and processed in an equally small number of countries. Not included in this figure, lithium and cobalt, whose mining and recycling are topics of their own. And don't forget semiconductors. Did you try to purchase a computer for your school-aged child in the fall of 2020? Did it arrive before the end of the school term? If your teenage son is really looking for a new business to start in the garage, might you suggest recycling laptops?
The second example pertains to climate change. There is no chance we will reach our climate goals without a transition to a circular economy. And I would like to give you 3 concrete examples. The first one pertains to buildings. It is estimated that around 1/3 of all emission savings will happen through building renovation and change of standards. For example, in the UK, from 2025, the use of gas boilers in new buildings will be banned. In transportation, in Europe, we have now decided collectively to ban the sale of petrol cars by 2035. Last year, around 10% of new car sales in Europe were electric. Gives you an idea of the acceleration required. The third example pertains to packaging and packaging waste. As we speak now, the European Union is deciding on a new regulation pertaining to packaging and packaging waste. It is highly likely that standards will be strengthened, and this will directly affect the composition of all food packaging used in the EU, with mandatory target in terms of how much packaging has to be reused, but also about the recycled content in this packaging. So, as you can see, the transition to a circular economy is paramount if we are to achieve the climate goals that we have set at the European and global level.
The transition to a circular economy has started. It involves many sectors, not just switching to renewable energy and paper cups. Ultimately, it is instrumental to reaching climate goals and strengthening our supply chains. The coming years will see the adoption of new initiatives in Europe and globally to hasten this transition by curbing plastic waste, making recycling mandatory, or lengthening product life and reliability. Under any scenario, circularity is growing and accelerating. It is as inevitable as it is desirable.